Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Abomination Goddess podcast. We are happy to have you with us. With me, as usual, is Casie Halseth. She is the author of Abomination Born. It is a fictional portrayal of her real life experience with the mystical realm. Her action packed book is full of lessons, insights, and calls for other Abomination Born folks around the world to start connecting, which is what we do on our podcast each week. She is an award-winning public speaker, and I think that you'll find by watching her podcast and reading her books that she just effortlessly draws her audience into her world, both in her book and on the stage. Welcome, Casie. I am so happy to have you here.
Hello. Thank you.
And I am Ashley Kim. I am the author of Villanera Goddess. It is a book that I wrote to help women on their journey to set boundaries, build confidence, and heal themselves. It is a very honest and open look at what I went through and the tools that I used to survive my villain era. And shocker, they're going to be tools you've probably never heard about before. I went through my journey alone, and I wrote this book so that you wouldn't have to go it alone. So you will have me on this crazy roller coaster riding with you. Welcome, everybody. Okay, and we are so excited. Our special guest today is Monica Murray. She is a widely recognized as an intuitive practitioner, author, speaker, and teacher. She has honed her skills through the lifelong practice of daily meditation, reflection, personal growth, and interaction with her clients, which is so cool. All of this while continually seeking the most peaceful and effective methods for just living greatly. In her practice, Monica offers in-depth services such as compassionate listening, tapping, Reiki, mediumship, and ancestral systems. Like, how freaking cool is this? Simple techniques that she uses helps guide her clients through the root causes of an issue and then path to resolution, which is such a relief for people who are looking for any type of guidance or resolutions. And then during special events, guests are invited to participate in a sampling of services that she has, such as oracle readings or tea leaf readings. And am I pronouncing this correctly? Testomancy?
Cassiomancy, yes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Um, so these lighter interactions are aimed at exploring ways to just learn how to gain balance, insight, and options that you have regarding issues that you're dealing with. So with joy and in your spirit, Monica is happy to share what she learns as she approaches each day with an open mind and a grateful heart. And we are so happy to have her with us today. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yay. It's great to be
Yeah,
with
welcome.
you. Oh my gosh. I love both of you ladies. It's wonderful. That's going to be a fun afternoon with you.
Thank
It will
you.
be. It will be. We took the podcast off with show and tell. And this is always one of my favorite parts just because I like to see what Casie gets up to and then what our guests are getting up to as well. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see here. Okay. And I will pull up images and then, yeah, we will just talk through why we love these things. Casie, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. You can go to the fire opal.
Oh, yeah.
Today I was drawn to fire opal and I have it on it's if you could see that it's a patchwork of little pieces of fire opal that's on my little necklace here, and they're placed onto an obsidian base and it's in the shape of a turtle. And I looked up fire opal on the site that we go to all the time. You can go to that one, yeah. It says it ignites a sense of inner strength and confidence. And doesn't that talk turtle to you? Inner strength and confidence.
Yes.
So today is like my turtle day. I'm really following the turtle. So you can go to the pictures that I have of yeah, the nine. That's the nine of pentacles in the I think I put it on there. It's the animal totem book. And the nine of pentacles. Let's go to that page.
Let's see this.
Yeah. Let's see the nine of pentacles. I'll read you the message from the tortoise. You already have all that you need. right where you are. So take it easy, slow down, and just this once, allow yourself to stop and smell the roses. It is okay to relax for a moment because where you are is safe and protected. Here in this garden, no one needs or wants anything from you. Relax, take a deep breath, and count your blessings. Isn't that beautiful?
Mm.
I absolutely love this is Lisa Robertson's book, Animal Totem. And can you go to the other page I had that she had on here? I I usually don't read all of these things, but I just love this turtle message. I changed the he to she. The tortoise is one of the earth's gentle giants. She moves at her own slow pace, carrying all her worldly possessions wherever she goes. Everything she could possibly need is right there in her shell, fully protected and hidden away from prying eyes. Living well over 100 years, these gentle giants move to their own time, a much slower time, a time where all is provided and everything comes exactly when it is meant to and not a second before. The Nine of Pentacles is more a card of how to build and sustain resources over the long term. There is nothing short term about this card. The garden in which the pentacles and the tortoise find themselves also show how things grow, change, and rejuvenate over time. The Nine of Pentacles offers a lesson about stamina and the long haul. Do what needs to be done so that what you need in the future will already be taken care of. And today, that's what I've been working on. I've been catching up on all these little things that I needed to do. We'd gone to another event this weekend, and I came back and I just needed to kind of be the tortoise, be the turtle.
Love that. That's
That's
perfect.
beautiful.
Anytime I deal with depression and I don't want to deal with anything, I do everything I do is for tomorrow, Ashley, instead of today, Ashley. Because today Ashley feels like crap and doesn't care, but tomorrow Ashley would. And that kind of reminds me of, doing things for the future and getting yourself set up. And that, yeah, that is how I've gotten myself through some hard times is focusing on tomorrow,
Oh,
Ashley, and what she needs.
I like that.
Yes, that's great.
I think that's all I had.
That's wonderful. That's a great card, especially
It's a
after a
great
show.
card. Yes.
Definitely. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let me share the screen again. You guys are just dealing with Ashley brain today. Okay.
It's
All
back.
right. Back. Yay. Cool. Welcome back to the party. Okay, I will go real quickly. I just have a few things here. I have been inspired by Casie posting on TikTok and Instagram. She's been posting about moon cycles, and then she's been getting into menstrual cycles and things like that as well. And so for about a year, this was my favorite oracle deck, Sacred Cycles. And so they do look at moon seasons and then menstrual cycles as well. So I looked up today's moon phase as waxing crescent. Um, and then this is the page for that one. Um, and so this is one reason why I really like these. So they have like a little kind of quote at the top. I let my curiosity lead the way. And sometimes that's all I need when I look at these oracle cards. Like I just need that, and then I can journal based on what I'm seeing there. Um, so I recommend these cards to anybody who wants to feel that kind of connection with your inner womanhood or whatever. I grew up just thinking that periods were annoying and dirty and bad and all those things, and then like to have my eyes open to a whole other world where it's sacred and we have our intuition, that goes with those things and stuff like that, and that we can also look at moon cycles with it. To me, was just I don't know, just opened my mind and it just kind of healed my heart a little bit. So I just wanted to show off these cards one more time in case anyone else
Those
is
are
kind of going down
beautiful.
that journey as well. Yeah. And, oh my gosh, every card is so gorgeous. Um, And then the other thing that I've been trying to do is get into, I am not an artist, by the way. I am not good at artwork, but I've been trying to be more creative and get into artwork again because I really do think that that is a kind of a quick way to do it. Um, so I went to a moss class with my friend
You
and
did that?
yeah, this one was mine.
Beautiful.
I jokingly said that it
Wow.
looked like those hats of the Kentucky Derby. like all crazy. But yeah, so this is it's all fake, but it was so fun. There's stones and then there's the moth and that butterfly is a real butterfly. It's not obviously not alive. But yeah, it was very fun to make this and it was at a place here in Des Moines where they just list like, hey, this is what we're doing tonight. And then different like women from all over come in and so we all just do it together. We don't know who anybody is. But you know, by the end of it you get to chatting and you're having a fun time and you make friends with people and you know, you hope you see them next time. So this was my little moss creation that I made.
That's
Thank
lovely.
It
you.
is. You did a great job. That's fun.
You. The other thing I made, excuse my dusty plant. I didn't realize that I have not taken care of her like I should until I saw this photo. But we made these, I don't even know what it's called. I'm just calling it like plant art. But it's a big metal pole and you just put your beads on there and then you just screw a washer on the bottom and it holds everything in place. And it's just some kit off Amazon, but it was so fun to make. So I used the birthstone colors for my family and just put those in here. And one of the things that I love to do is put artwork in my plants. I feel like it just kind of helps me connect my energy to each of them, and I like how they're spread across the house. And I kind of picture it like a little web connecting me to them, you know, just all over. And we all just kind of chat with each other and talk to each other. Usually they're like, freaking water me. But, you know, I do my best. So yeah, these are my two little art projects that I'd worked on. And after seeing this photo, I will go back and dust everybody's leaves because I feel bad for them.
I'm not very good with plants, watering the plants. And my girlfriend, oh gosh, like 40 years ago, told me, well, put a glass of water right next to it, a clear glass of water right next to your plants. And when that water is empty in that glass, then you should know that your plants probably could use some water. And I get so distracted. I look at that, I'm thinking, why do I have an empty glass next to my plants? I completely
Clean that up.
forget. And then it's, oh, that's right.
Good.
Yeah, that's something I would do too. I even have reminders that go off on my phone to water my plants, and I'm like, or I'll do it later. And then yeah, we're getting there. Hey Monica, which one would you like for me to open first?
Let's start with the white one with the black lettering there.
Yeah.
That's just how I started my morning, and so I'd like to start with that. I'm getting ready for a show, and I need to do. I want to do a little. I'm always trying to, give people quick little tools to help them, and also a little kit and a demonstration about intentions, setting intentions, and manifesting, and kind of a step-by-step process on that. Because
Mhm.
I think a lot of the literature out there, I've noticed over the last few years, leaves out a few kind of important steps. And so I just thought I'm going to write down my process and how I do it, and then we can talk about it, and people can then tweak it for their own use.
Yeah.
And so this was a thing I went into my meditation this morning with this. When you move with love and genuine intentions, you always win. Always, everybody wins. And that it was so interesting that I've been working on this, and then the universe always gives you little things to practice that what you're working on. So
Yeah.
one of my friends called yesterday and we were talking about shows and different things going on with the business and how to continue to thrive and move forward and all that. And it kind of turned into this kind of situation she was had that might have been related to that, a little bit of personal situation and with one of her friends. And that was also a client and a center of clients and all this. And it kind of blew up and was just a shock, 3 years, like, wow. And so I said, well, as light workers, we're downloading good information from somewhere and we're using our best intentions to, express that, the meaning of that concept that we've downloaded. And so as long as we do that and, as it's focused on the client, we have to let those results reside somewhere else. We did our part to the best of our ability with the most loving intentions. And then what the client does with that and the self-will and where they're at and all that, it's kind of a self-praise program. And we have to let those results go. And even if they kind of think maybe that wasn't a great thing or they're not ready to see that, they a lot of times will come back around and go, I see what you were trying to tell me now.
Yep.
And sometimes they just don't have that frame of reference, and we keep trying different ways to explain it and introduce them to things. But as long as we're doing our job with the most love and the highest regard for the client, that's all we can do. That's the best we can do, and we really have to let go of what happens with that afterwards.
Yep. I love
So
that.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
I
I
love how
love
the
that.
universe gives you a little, because
Yeah.
sometimes you download these things while you're working on a
Mhm.
project or something, and you got to put words to all that and be able to organize that where you can express it to a group of people. And I just love it when the universe does that and puts things in there to help me learn. Because I used to lead a monthly meditation group, and invariably I'd start working on it the first of the next month. I work on the next topic. Invariably, I started experiencing things in my life that helped me figure out what that was about and how to explain that to other people. So I
Yeah.
love how spirit works in that way. If we seek
Yeah.
that guidance, it always comes to us.
Yep.
Well,
Always
That
that's
is
through
how I
so
started.
true.
experiences and teachings.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's how
Yeah,
I started the morning, Mrs. with that meditation.
I love this. Yeah. When I
Mhm.
saw this morning, it reminded me too. Different sides. So I have a digital marketing agency. I
Mhm.
always do better when I don't focus on the amount of money I'm getting out of somebody and I focus on the love and intention that I have to helping them. And
Right.
then I do so good. And then every time my business starts to falter, it's when I let somebody come in and go, well, you're not charging enough. You could charge more. You could do this. You could do that. And start centering everything around money instead of me helping people. I tank every time. And so I did, and it's a lesson I have to keep learning. But when I saw that, I was like, it was my sign that I'm doing where a good job, a better job, because I recentered everything and now I'm getting new clients again. So thank you for sending this because I was like, yes, thank you, Monica. Thank you, universe. I needed this, like this little, pat on the head of, yeah, you're doing it right. So
Yes,
I love it.
that's good. And I think it's important to do the work ourselves and then with our clients and kind of see
Mhm.
how that goes and talk to other light workers and trusted friends that we have and that way they can give us constructive feedback. It's not meant to be harmful or critical, but it just maybe they see it in a way that I'm not seeing it. And then that helps me explain it to a variety of clients that I might have because you never know what's going to happen in a meeting. So
Oh yeah,
it's good to have different ways to explain things.
definitely. And nice to
Okay.
have your safe people that you can
Yes.
turn to.
I
Yes.
think we need that. It's very constructive because it's a reality check and not and as we move kind of further along in this journey, we have fewer peers, people, I mean, where's the manual on this? There is no manual on
No,
this.
yeah,
And so to be able to take all these ethereal concepts and whatever we're experiencing and talk to those other trusted friends, that's
yeah,
so valuable for the
yeah.
work and just as a way to have a reality check because then we got to bring it out of the ethereal and use it in the real world and that gets a little sticky sometimes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and does it feel like we're constantly kind of morphing our friend group or our safe zone? Like the further you move,
Hmm.
it's like you don't want to lose friends or lose connections, but sometimes you do outgrow them to the point where you kind of do have to move into a
Hmm.
different friend
Right.
group.
It's like we become invisible to them when our frequency keeps going higher and higher.
Yeah,
We become invisible to them.
Hmm.
yep, yeah. Or we don't feel good to them anymore because yeah, our frequency.
And they really sometimes just can't relate to it. They have no foundation or experience for that. And I always tell people it's like, a little kid's learning, they're learning one, two, three, ABC, all that stuff, and then they go on and they learn more advanced math and different things along the way. And it's not fair of me to expect a first grader to understand quantum physics or calculus or something,
Yeah,
so I have to kind of work through that a little bit. And I think as far as my journey, which is always the first thing before I present to the world, um, it's you just get to where you depend on that source, that ultimate, the universe and the synchronicity of things, and that's really your best friend at that. It
Yeah,
gets more and more that way every day, and um,
yeah.
and like you say, the friend circle kind of closes in because it's like I don't know even what she sounds like she's speaking English, but I didn't understand a word she said.
yep, yeah.
So
I know yeah, exactly. And I've even had friends that maybe think I'm being fake because they just can't connect with what I'm saying, and that's fine. We just
yeah,
have
Yes, and that's okay, because we can kind of let those relationships move and shift, and we can do all that with
Mhm.
grace and mercy and compassion. But it doesn't mean we have to just kind of keep beating on that, because
Right.
they have
Exactly.
their own path and their own way, and so I'm always willing to circle back around to a loving relationship. But sometimes we just have people have to go on their separate ways for a while.
Yep,
And
definitely.
Monica, sometimes when I go up another level, it's like something weird happens to me where I can't remember anything anymore. I forget what I'm working on. I forget everything just falls apart. And back when I used to do hair for a living, I'd cut hair. I'd go to these shows and learn how to do all these new styles. I'd come back, I completely forgot how to do the basic haircuts
Okay.
because my
Yes.
brain was so full of all this new stuff. And I used to always let my hands do the cuts, the muscle memory. Thank
Hmm.
God my hands would remember how to do the cuts because whenever that's just my way. Whenever I learn a bunch of new stuff, I just fall apart. And so
Hmm.
maybe they're like me, these people, they just fall apart when you learn something new. And then afterwards it's like, oh yeah, okay, I got it.
That little grace period where it has to integrate. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
But
boy,
I'm
I'll get back
creating new
to you.
neurons.
yes. And I do think for us that work in this industry, I call it light workers amnesia because we have to give that back to the client or the family or wherever goes. If they don't want anymore, I give
Cool.
it to the universe. It's just energy, and they'll reuse it somehow. But it's good that I don't take all that home and I can't remember all those stories. Because
Oh
sometimes a
yeah.
client will come at a show or something. Oh, I saw you here last year, and remember we talked about this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I do remember you, but I don't remember, I don't
Yeah,
remember
that's
that
Yeah.
true.
particular
That's
session
true.
because it didn't belong to me.
That's
I
right.
gave it back. So, and
Yeah.
sometimes I can explain that to people, and sometimes I just kind of say, well, what do I want to work on today? So it is a thing because our brain can't hold all that. Thank goodness for the
Mhm.
Akashic records because we can
Yes.
that, but our physical
Yeah.
being can't hold all that stuff.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah. Let's see. What do we want to look at next here?
Oh, for me?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Car.
well, I was working on these cars. It's called Whispers of Healing. That's that picture. And
Okay.
those are oracle cards by Angela Hartfield and then the artwork by Josephine Wall. And so I did a little layout for myself this morning. And, I just think God has a sense of humor. So you always get what you need. So the first one was awareness with a seashell on it. I'm kind of in the beachy mood right now. And so I always am striving for a higher awareness, higher intelligence, a different perspective, or it doesn't necessarily always negate my beliefs or what I've been doing. It just gives me a higher understanding of it or more in-depth perspective on that concept. So that's me always doing that. And then the number on there is three, which for me is the Trinity, like the a harmony or a balance between our spiritual or ethereal and the way we process it mentally, and then how that manifests in the world or in our body or however physically that manifests. And with the zero, of course, we all know that's a master number. So that's beautiful that that was the Trinity, so to speak. And as we get a little bit more life experience, we become masters in certain areas. So that was a great card to begin with. And the second one was boundaries. That one always comes back to me. Working on a gracious no. And it's taken me years to
Mhm.
learn that, that I have something I really need to do. That's why I love to write down mission statements. Like I have a personal mission statement and a professional mission statement and a spiritual mission statement. And I have a yardstick then to compare things to so I can say, no, I'm sorry, I'm working on this project today. I don't even say I'm sorry. I just say I'm working on this project and I can't really do that today. And half the time it's not some. They've called five other people by the time they'll figure it out. So my
Yeah.
boundaries are pretty important. And I think a lot of people that when their light is shining very brightly, it attracts people. And we have to learn some very healthy boundaries. And again, we
Mhm.
can do that with compassion.
Mhm.
The number on that one is 550, which is another master number. And five, of course, is about change and adaptability. So it's kind of asking me to work with those boundaries and change, and just keep tweaking that. So it works out
Yeah.
well for me and all else. So that was good. And then the last one was kind of a full circle moment that came back around. We always have choices. Life is a self-paced program and we can try all we want to try, but eventually we find our way and move forward a little bit. And then have that grace period that we were talking about to kind of integrate that. And when you add 39, then the little number at the top there, you get a 12 and then you get a 3. So it breaks down again, full circle back to the Trinity for me again. So I just love that these cards gave me that full circle moment today and just
Yeah,
helped.
definitely.
Hmm. So that's a great little deck. It's called Whispers of Healing and it never fails.
Yeah.
Well, it
I'll show
usually.
the deck or the cover one
Hmm.
more time.
Right.
Yeah, these are gorgeous.
The cards inside are beautiful and the artwork and
Hmm.
it's just a beautiful way if people like to use oracle cards, where you're kind of intuitively interpret them. This is a great deck. And I usually kind of keep it on hand at the shows and for people even that have private sessions. But and then my other all-time go-to, I don't know if you can see this, it's called a Peace Oracle. And sometimes I just start with that card. There we go. Whoops, there we go.
Oh, wow.
This one is by Tony Carmen Salerno and Leah J. Williams. So I always start with this card if things are a little bumpy when you first get going. It's like, okay, everybody take a breath. We're going to do this peacefully. No matter where we go with this, we're going to find a peaceful way to do this. So
Yeah.
that's really my favorite deck of all time that I use all the time.
I'll have to look that up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have,
Oh, yes, this is really fun. We're getting ready to go away for a little while and go to the beach. And so, where we go on this particular island, they have what they call a mermaid mailbox. And it's so cute. It's like a little treasure hunt. And there's little clues around town, and eventually you find the little mailbox. And the kids love it, adults love it, everybody loves it. And when you go, you put in a little trinket, and then you take a little trinket back if you want to.
fun.
And to me, it's just a very gentle way of people practicing fair and balanced exchange.
Hmm.
It's like you're welcome to take the seashell or the necklace or whatever's in there that somebody else put in there. But if you don't know about it, nobody's going to say anything. But in general, try to come and people will come back and then they'll leave something, that they bought somewhere at a little shop or something. So it's just a beautiful way. Especially, I love it because so many children go there. Parents take their children to the mermaid box and mailbox. And it's just a very gentle way to teach people the balance exchange.
But it's
That's
kind
really
of like
nice.
geocaching, but beach themed. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just fun. You can put whatever you want in there, a little something, little what I call a sussy. It's not quite a gift. It's not quite as good as that, but it means I was thinking about you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. What a
Hmm.
fun idea.
It is
Yeah.
a good idea.
So I just was playing with some of my jewelry. It's kind of a meditation for me. I go in my studio and just play with that and I can look up and I've been in there 2 or 3 hours. So
Hmm.
that's one way I kind of, after a hectic day or something, I just kind of calm down and get focused on that.
Yeah. That's a wonderful idea.
Hmm.
Yeah. My mom used to own a big jewelry store, and
Uh-huh.
I always loved doing that too. There's just something about getting in there and messing with the beads and being creative, and yeah,
Yes,
having finished products when you're done.
right. And I mean, you can't make a mistake. You just put things together and,
Yeah.
and you come out with something. So it's just a fun way
Yeah.
to spend some time.
Yeah. I love it.
Yes.
Yay.
So that's what that necklace was about. I'm making a few things for the mermaid mailbox.
Yeah. Oh, I just think it's so fun. Yeah, I love that. And
Yeah.
it's just such a simple but uplifting thing to look forward to. Like
Mhm.
from the outside in, it seems like a simple thing, but it isn't. It is something that I don't know. It's you're spreading the love, like you said. So
You are. And it doesn't matter if some little kid found a stick and put it in there. I mean, it's
mhm.
okay. Whatever they
Yeah,
want there's fine.
yeah, yep. Oh, I love that.
Hmm.
Um, okay, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is how you got into just tea leaf reading in general, because I believe it's came from maybe just a love of tea or
Mhm.
to begin with. And so, do you mind just kind of talking about how you got into that and
Right.
just that
No,
journey this way?
I'd be glad to. It's kind of a thing I've done most of my adult life. I've meditated since I was a toddler. My grandmother luckily put me on her lap and we had quiet time. And so she
Wow.
taught me to meditate when I was very small. So I've done that pretty much every day of my whole life. And you get some great things in your little journal, that you write down over the years if you're doing that every day. And so because of that and learning that, I've made kind of an agreement with spirit. If I see this or perceive this in some way, it means say that to the client or say that to whoever that message is for, or even to myself, say that to myself. And so over time, I built up a little dictionary of symbols, of what, because I'm just trying to interpret that energy or those concepts that come to
Wow.
me. So it's my agreement with spirit. If I see this, it means to do that. And so I didn't realize over the years that I had really built up that language, with spirit. And so I'm always studying stuff. Every year I've always done three things. I'll do like something personal development, and then I'll do like something technical, like I got to learn how to do Zoom or something. And then kind of something to really help my skills too. And or, I may have to learn something about accounting that's new or something. So I do those three areas all the time, and I've done that for years. And occasionally I'll get on a project and it spreads over into 2 or 3 years. But that was kind of a big one with learning the family systems and all that. That took me a while to learn that. But all of a sudden, all this stuff starts coming together. And I've always loved tea. I'm not a big coffee drinker. It makes me a little jazzy. So I'm a tea drinker and I love tea. I've got my grandmother's little teapot and everywhere we go, everybody's got to go to the tea room with me and sit there and have foo-foo croissants and stuff. And the guys are going, oh gosh. Yeah. But they go with me because I go on crazy things with them. So it's like one little tea party is not going to kill you. And so over all this traveling and doing all these fun things, I've always loved tea and I just think it's amazing, the story of tea. And I thought I was going to add something to my menu at the shows. And because I really can't do what I do in a private meeting for a client, we can't do that out in a show. It's just too much. And they wouldn't probably feel comfortable enough to really open up and talk about what really need to talk about. And so I thought I can do tea leaves. Not very many people do it. It's kind of unusual. And then all of a sudden Harry Potter came along and this movie, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I just took those patterns and symbols and all that I had been learning since I was a kid, and I applied it to interpreting those tea leaves. So it's just another way to interpret things. So just like tarot cards or palmistry or anything else, it just falls under that umbrella of divination where you're downloading divine information. And it's just a way to present that to the
Mhm.
clients with the tea
Yeah.
leaves.
Yeah.
And the way I structure my readings is I just kind of did it. I mean, I didn't take a class or anything. I just over time kind of figured it out. And I like to do a little three-card draw while the tea is brewing. And I let them pick well, first I have them write down what they want to focus on during the session because it gets it out of all this rolling around in your head and makes them really put words to what are we doing here? And because I'm going to go up in the ethers and talk to some really smart, loving beings that care for you. So what do you want to know? And so we get that down and they write it in their own handwriting and then we have it there. And then I let them draw the three cards and I don't touch the cards other than to, spread them out and then, take the one that they pick. And then the last thing with the tea, there's no way I could have manipulated those tea leaves. I mean, I just put them in there, drain them, and it comes out, whatever comes out, it's what happens. And so by letting them write that down, letting them pick their cards, and then not having any way to control the shape of the tea leaves, it proves to them that that higher source gave them that information. I didn't do it. I'm not smart enough. I mean, I've studied all my life, but I don't know what they need to hear today in this
Right.
situation. So that it kind of shows them that the universe is on their side and that the message will come to them if they just seek that. So that's how I set that up, kind of to make sure that they realize that they brought this on, they sought that. And I might have communicated on their behalf, but they were the ones that started this process for themselves.
Hmm. I like that. I
Hmm.
like that. And I like how it gives that little bit of control to them. The
Hmm.
And
Right.
I think that's very important. And
It
yeah,
is. It is. And one of the most powerful things that ever happened to me like that, and it really kind of stunned me. And I just was, thank you for letting that, let me witness that and see how you did that for this client. And it was a young girl, and she was in college and finals and working and stress. I mean, she was just, what am I doing kind of thing. And she sat down and, so she wrote on her paper, are there really angels helping me and watching me?
Oh,
And she was just so frantic with everything and the pressure of the exams and all that going on. And our family didn't live in this college town. And, and so I thought, okay, I know God's got a sense of humor and he will bring this girl what she needs. And I trust that. I request that every time, and they've never failed me. So we go along, we're doing the cards, and some angels start popping out, and we talk about that. And she's feeling, better. She's not crying anymore, you know. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is good. We're getting there. Thank you. And so I drain the tea and I turn that. I look down at that tea leaf, and all across the bottom of the cup, there's one giant symbol. Usually there's several things in there. It was the shape of two angel wings. That's the
oh,
only thing that was in that cup. And it was huge. It went clear across the bottom of the cup. And I didn't even know what to say to her. I just turned the cup over and let her look at that because
yeah,
it's like there's nothing more powerful than I could say. And
hmm
she burst into tears, and I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying to maintain my professionalism. And I'm like, those are happy tears, right? And she finally kind of regained her composure and she said, Monica, I will never doubt the ability of the angels to help me. Never. From here to eternity, I will never question that. And I thought, what more could you have given that girl?
yeah.
I just,
yeah,
That makes me want to cry.
yes. And it had nothing to do with me or the cards or any, the angels were just using that as a tool to
Hmm
yes,
give her the message she needed.
Yeah,
So that wonderful things like that happen all the time with people. And it amazes me that it shouldn't be amazed because I ask for help and they always provide it. But it just, to me, it kind of, that one kind of set me back a little bit. I had to think on that a couple of days.
yeah,
I read it
yeah.
too.
What a
Yeah.
fulfilling moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
we become so humbled by that, don't we?
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. When these things happen, it's like, oh,
And she knew I'd had nothing to do with that. I knew I had
mhm.
nothing to do with that. And it was just her seeking that guidance.
yeah.
Yeah, she's doing great, by the way. I've we've talked since, and she's making
Oh,
her way through.
good.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
just very
good.
young.
We're glad.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That kind of brings me to the next thing that on my list to talk about was just the meaning of reverie. Am I saying that correctly? That did
Reverie.
not sound. Yeah, thank you. As soon as that came out of my mouth, I was like, that is not right.
Yes.
Just the meaning behind it, and yeah, and how you're using that because I feel like what you were saying just kind of ties into that
hmm
meaning anyway.
hmm So years ago, I had a real job with a cubicle and everything, like the big tall building downtown.
I like how you call it a real job.
Yeah. And I was good at it, but it was like, okay. And so it was really tumultuous. This company was known for buying and selling and breaking up parts and doing, I mean, it was just the craziest job, but I loved what I did for my job. I absolutely loved it. And so it was getting kind of time to where, I think I need to do something more that has more meaning for me. And so I started kind of thinking about that and again, taking my classes and doing stuff I do. And I love that word. I ran across that word reverie. And back then you didn't hear that word very often. And I'm like, what is that word? Because I thought, reverie, like you're in reverie, you're thinking about something. And when I kind of looked it up, it just meant like a peaceful meditation or a fanciful daydream. And I thought that's the perfect name. So I changed my password on my computer at work. That was my last password I used in the corporate world. And
Yeah.
that's how I work. Now work and play are the same thing for me all day long, every day. And
Yeah.
so it's just being in that peaceful place. I try to maintain that peaceful place. And even with the bumps in the road, I kind of try to look for the peace. And I always ask people they'll ask me about something and I'll say, sometimes there's not always a perfect answer to a situation, but try to make the most peaceful or loving decision you can and move forward with that. And
Yeah.
so that state of reverie, that peacefulness, and then just kind of sometimes you have to have a fanciful daydream. It's like, well, that looks a little strange. But then you think about it or contemplate it for a few days and you realize, oh, they're giving me something. It seemed fanciful at the time, but I see what they're trying to tell me now.
Yeah.
So that's what that word means
Yeah.
to me.
I love it. Yeah, it's a good word.
Beautiful.
I like it with your password too. I think that's
Yeah.
like what a great
Yeah.
reminder to type that in every day.
Yes. For years, I had shishi, which is the Chinese Mandarin word for, or group of words for thank you. It's a form of gratitude. And then I just had always used a form of shishi as my password. And
Yeah,
then when that really was time for me to figure out what I'm going to do next, that became my password and was the last one.
yeah. I think that's amazing. I love that so
Mhm.
much. Um, and I'm sorry, I'm just tossing questions at you, but I'm just kind of fascinated with like your journey and like just who you are as a person. One of the things that you had mentioned when we were talking before was devoting um, some of your work time to like toward the conscious collective or the greater good.
Mhm.
Can you, I guess, explain how you do that? Because this is something that has been on my mind for quite a while.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to say I'm doing that, or I want in my heart to know that I'm doing that, but I don't necessarily know if I am, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So yeah, how do you do that? And how do you know if you are doing it, if that makes sense?
The results. I always go by the results. And I may not see them immediately, but like um somebody will call me 3 years later and I've done a mediumship reading or something. They couldn't take it, didn't take it. And this lady one time, 3 years later, she called me and she said, because I described a picture of a woman with a big fancy bustle on her dress and a parasol and all this. And she's like, no, no, that needs nothing to me, nothing to me. And I said, well, you need to find this lady because she's in your council, I think, and she's there to help you with something. 3 years later, this lady called me and she said, I was over at my cousin's house. We went on vacation. I saw, because I'd drawn her a little sketch and the angle, the way the lady was standing and everything, and the parasol. She said, I found that picture in an old family album. It's like an old Victorian album with these black and white pictures in there. And she said, it was exactly like your little stick person drawing, you know? And I said, well, who is she? Did you find out? And that cousin knew who it was. It was kind of a great aunt back in there somewhere, and that she knew about her life, and it fit with why that woman was in her offering to be in her council. So I would say yes to your question. If you're thinking about doing it and you have good intentions, you're doing it. And so I
Awesome.
always follow the results and make sure that that's working for the client to the best of my ability. And then if not, I tweak my process a little bit. So, and
Yeah,
sometimes you have to tweak it for individuals, but um
yeah,
so the collective consciousness. You've probably heard of like Ho'oponopono and things like that, where sometimes in life we've kind of processed maybe a trauma or a relationship or something, and we want to send love and compassion out there, but we really don't need to be going to lunch with that person. We may not need them in our physical life or phone calls or any of that even. And so you want to kind of love them from a distance, and you can still send without interfering or manipulating, or because it's their life journey, they get to decide their soul's path. And so you can, if you feel like you really need to do something, you can put that in what I call their ethereal savings account. And then when they're ready, a lot of the work and the love and the forgiveness has already been done. But they go up there and they can get that and retrieve that at any point. But you don't have to be physically involved with that person. And
yeah,
so to me, that's kind of a simple version of like when you're personally dealing with something. But then working over the years with clients, I'm in Oklahoma, I live in Oklahoma, and there's three things that kept cropping up. And so one was situations with the trauma with the Native Americans, because we had some pretty serious things come through Oklahoma and back in the day, and a lot still kind of goes on now, that there's residue of that, like that cultural trauma, and it kind of landed right here in Oklahoma. So I get a lot of that coming up, and then sometimes I get things with slavery come up, and that definitely was another cultural trauma, and maybe some traits or feelings or thoughts have passed down, and maybe people are kind of sabotaging their success or whatever. And then the third one, believe it or not, in the middle of Oklahoma is the Holocaust. The Jewish issue comes up sometimes.
Mhm.
And it kind of surprised me on that because I didn't have my grandmother taught me to study all the world's religions, and I knew kind of the basics of that, but I didn't realize we had so much trauma ongoing. And at the time when I first started doing this, still some of the World War II vets were still alive, a lot of them. And there were people that actually had survived the Holocaust, and a lot of people that had family that didn't. And so that was coming up in my sessions a lot, especially if we went back in the generations or even past lives. Sometimes it was popping up. So those three things I thought, okay, in my spare time, we've all got a lot of that. Um, I can work on these things. And again, I just meditate and kind of ask, like I would with the climate, what can I do? Is there anything I can do or need to be doing? Do I have the authority to do this? And I don't want to interfere or anyway manipulate anything. But is there any type of love or compassion or forgiveness that I can put up in the ethereal savings account? And that's kind of the collective consciousness. I do that as a form of love and just healing and forgiveness. And I don't know what other people each need or the group needs, or, I don't know that information, but I know that love is the highest frequency that I know of to work with. And I can put that in there into those situations and just leave that there for somebody that might come along and need that or want that.
Right, right. Oh, I love that. I love that. I've
Oh,
never
that
thought
is
about it
so
that way.
powerful. That is
Yeah,
so, so powerful.
It is
yeah,
amazing how that works. And um, I mean, I personally didn't do any of those things to any of those three groups, but I'm sure in fact, I know some of my family members did. And there's some
mhm,
history in some of the farm, on one of the farms we have. And I know that. And I've tried to make the amends the best way I can or help the community um, heal from some of the things that happen. But there's so many stories that I can't possibly know that. So I just ask, I was raised Southern Baptist, so I ask God and the angels and all that. And I just say, is there anything as a human that as my spirit that I can do to help those situations?
right. I I love that so much. Thank you for explaining that because I'm
Yes.
hoping that anyone listening can see that they can make an impact, too. And I struggle with that sometimes of like, well, I'm just me, but how do I help strangers that don't know, like, how do I help strangers out there? I'll never meet them face to face. They'll never know me, but how do I put that energy out there, for somebody? And so, yeah, this was very helpful. I appreciate that. That was, yeah.
Good, good. And on our
Yes.
good. On our soul journey, my personal belief is we've all born baby little souls and make our progression along through the spectrum. And then, we have the enlightened beings over here, the Buddhas and Jesus and Kuan Yins and, all of that is on the other end of the spectrum. And so we've all been the victim. We've all been the perpetrator. We've all been all of these things over many, many, many years. And so my compassion has to reside in, I was probably a perpetrator somewhere along the way and did some rascally things. And so it's a kind of a way for me to work through that, clean my slate and put some good out there, some love into the world. And you see things on the news and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't personally, go and do that. I don't know how to rescue somebody out of a river or something, but
Right.
um I can support them through spirit. I can meet them spirit to spirit. And if the families are grieving or different things have happened, and I can just put that out there for them without interfering. I can do what Monica can do.
Yeah.
As
I
infinite, there's
love
an
that.
infinite amount of love out there. I can access that 24/7, and there's way more than I can ever use. And so I always serve from the abundance or give from the overflow. And always trying to teach my clients or anybody that wants to know that how to connect with that source because it's unlimited. It's
Hmm.
ongoing.
Hmm.
Anybody can get it. And
Hmm.
especially people that are like the vampires or the grabbing and snatching and jealousy and greed and all that stuff. And it's like, calm down. You have everything you need and it's available to you whenever you ask for it.
Yeah.
So
I
that's how I
100%.
do it.
Yeah. The other thing I really like about what you were explaining too is that, you had said in past lives, we've all been, we were
Mhm.
probably the villain and we did, other things. And I think that's super important for people to hear because I think people will run instead of admitting, like, hey, I've been the problem. I've been the problem in this lifetime. I've been the
Sure.
problem in other, like I've been the problem. But
Right.
instead of running from it, running from that shame and hiding from it, you can just accept it and then you can do better. And like you were saying, put that
Right.
love out there so that when someone needs it in their cup, they have it.
Right.
Like what a great solution to
Hmm. Hmm.
accepting who you are, who you have been, but also helping people that you don't know that you do want to help them. So yeah, like
Right.
this is so lovely.
Because I know that spiritually something way bigger than me is doing all this. But yet
Mhm.
there's still a time when sometimes a physical person needs to say, wow, I wish that hadn't happened. That
Yeah,
was such an unfortunate thing, or they just need a physical hug. They just
yeah,
need somebody to say this is going to be okay. So yes, that spiritual part, it's all spiritual. That energy comes from something much more intelligent than me, but yet sometimes I'm the physical part of it that needs to bring that message.
yeah,
So, and then with the past life things, I think, oh my gosh, what if I had a life and I murdered three people, and I went to jail or prison and that was a mess and it was in the newspaper, and you're never going to really overcome that. You can't, people in society and all this may hold that kind of against you forever, even though you may have completely changed your life and you'll never harm anybody or anything again. I think that's where sometimes that life is over and we come back into a new life and a new situation. And that's left back there in the past. We've made our amends for that, or maybe we need to learn another little piece of that in this lifetime. But I think that those continuing lifetimes are kind of hitting the reset button on something that the real physical world cannot get past. And
mhm,
that's a clean slate for us to start over.
mhm,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can set up a pattern.
Yes, yes. Because sometimes there's just absolutely no way you can do your best to, you know, fix that, make amends, not do it again, change your behavior, whatever. But you still have victims back here that are hurting and will maybe never
mhm.
forgive you for that.
Right, right. Yep. And yeah, I appreciate you explaining that. We need to start wrapping up. I want to make sure that everybody knows where to find you, so that
Yeah.
they can connect with you as well. Do you want to
Okay.
give your website, whatever, however much contact information you want to give?
Sure. The website's Monica Reverie. But the best way, I'm kind of old school, is just call me on the phone. I mean, you can look on Facebook. Monica's got it. Monica Murray's got a page with a little mermaid back behind here. And then that's where I kind of put everything, all the shows and stuff I'm doing. But just call me 918-299-8800. And I really like to talk to people and I like to see them, in person if I can, but Zoom is great if we can't meet. Everybody lives all over the world nowadays and we can connect. So I'm just old school, just one-on-one, and I get a lot of referrals from different sources. And so I don't do a lot of advertising or promoting or any of that. It just comes to me. And that's works best for me because I'm only one person with so many hours in the day. And I'm more like quality than quantity kind of person. And the people that really need me will find me. And they always do.
Uh,
Can you give your number again?
Yes, it's 918
Mm-hmm.
299
299?
uh-huh, 8800.
can put it
And
in
then
our newsletter
kind
too
of,
for people.
yeah, thank you. That's great. And I'm willing to, meet anybody for a session or talk about whatever you want to talk about because you've got to get back to your authentic self and really make peace with whatever's going on. And there's always a way to do that.
Yeah, and I think too, just chatting with you before and then now during our podcast is you are gentle, you're non-judgmental, you are a very safe place for people, and I think that there are so
Mhm.
many people who need that right now, and that's
Absolutely.
yeah. And one of the things I love about our podcast is just meeting other folks like you because
Hmm.
we do need our safe people in our safe community. And yeah, I'm just so happy that you're here with us and that.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's
I
been a
love you.
joy, just a
Thank you.
joy.
It's been a fun conversation. I'm glad to have been with you girls.
Uh,
That's great.
Awesome. Okay, I will include all of
Thank you.
Monica's contact information when I send out an email, and it'll be in the YouTube notes. It'll be everywhere we can put it. So anybody watching or listening, you can reach out to her. And are all of your services available like through Zoom and things like that
Mhm.
too?
Yes.
Okay, yep. So yep, super easy. Yeah, to get involved with you and to contact you. So
Yes,
hey,
that's
and
right.
I had Monica read my tea leaves at the Conway show that we went to a couple months ago. And she came up with some things that I've been writing about. And she didn't even know that she was coming up with stuff that I had been writing about.
Yeah. It's amazing how it works. I can't really explain it other than just
Hmm.
Spirit gives it to us when we need it.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And I
Mhm.
think those
That's great.
synchronicities we just need those little reminders that way, and it feels good to the soul and the
Yes,
heart.
yes. Well, this has been great. I appreciate the time with you and I wish all your viewers the best day and good luck with their projects and whatever they're doing. So it's
Awesome.
wonderful to
Thank
be
you.
here. Thank you.
Thank you,
Awesome. Thank you,
Monica.
everybody. Hang on, Monica, I'm going to stop recording and then we'll chat for just a second. So I hope everybody listening and watching has a great Wednesday and rest of the week. And we will see you next
Bye.
time.
Bye.